Good afternoon. Welcome to yet another wonderful episode of FGS TV. Today is absolute my pleasure to introduce you to Tamzin Hamilton from HPE. Tamzin, you know more about yourself than I do. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you come from, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, you're on blind date. Yeah.
So Tamsin Hamilton, I am one of the Channel GreenLake specialists, so supporting our enterprise partners to adopt and sell our GreenLake as a service platform. Worked in HP for the last 7 years, always kind of come from a services background. So yeah, it's been a great 7 years and excited to be in what we're calling the new era of as a service in GreenLake and cloud adoption.
Right, yeah, which is really what I want to touch on today. Not specifically GreenLake, but that will obviously come in the conversation repetitively. It's about the changes we're seeing in the industry. And I've been in the industry, well, you said 7, you've been there. Next year will be my 40th year. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I don't look that old. You're right. yeah, took the words out of your mouth. Yeah. But I've seen some massive changes just in the last year, to be honest. And I know HP are at the forefront of this, and they've been really focusing on what we're just about to talk about. I'll tell you what, and I'm going to move back now a bit, so it's a bit disjointed. When I set this business up about 10 years ago, everyone said, you're mad, you're going into infrastructure, cloud's going to eat your breakfast, you won't have a business in 5 years. And they talk about public cloud. And I said, no way. No way, it's not going to happen. Cloud will have a major impact, but even during all these years we've been going, the infrastructure spend's gone up and up, each year. And so where people have dropped out the infrastructure side and gone into the cloud side more, we're still in that area. So we've got a bigger part of the cake here. So I'm really pleased with it. But the exciting bit for me, and I don't know what you're seeing at HP, and I do realise you can't talk figures and stuff because you're a publicly listed company. I understand that, and you can't, so you can only talk about trends, etc., and nice successes. But so what we're seeing massively at the moment is not people coming out of the cloud per se, but a lot more hybrid. And hybrid, for people who don't understand it out there, means public cloud and on-prem in a data center, or etc. So I think I want to talk about, what are you seeing from where you see? Can you just explain GreenLake? Because you understand GreenLake, so you'll talk about GreenLake, but actually some of the viewers here won't know what GreenLake is. So just give us a bit of a feel, and then I'm going to chuck some questions at you to guide you. Just give us a clue what GreenLake is, because I'm going to say what I think it is, and then you're going to tell me I'm talking rubbish. Yeah. For me, in its simplicity, in one sentence, GreenLake is like buying from the public cloud, but it's on your premise. There you go. Over to you.
There you go. So GreenLake is really trying to provide customers that easy to use platform to radically transform their business. So to give them that security, compliance, and I guess elasticity and kind of scalability that public cloud gives, but in a customer's data center, so they still have that control over their kit still, and that's pretty much kind of what it is.
And they pay for it in the same way as they pay for public cloud? How does the pay? How do you pay for it?
IT. So they consume their IT and pay as they go for that within their own data center, and whether that's in their data center or co-location, should they want to reduce their footprint, there's kind of different ways that they can consume it. But GreenLake is a platform. It's a platform that they
GreenLake's the marketing name for this. Basically. So let's see that in my mind. So when you buy from the public cloud, you pay. So nice and easy. It's always storage is the easiest one, isn't it? To talk about, because you've got 100 terabytes. And using 100 terabytes in the public cloud, you pay for that 100 terabytes. If you go to 110 terabytes, you pay for 110. If you go to 90, you pay for 90. So GreenLake is exactly that, but on your premise, or data center, colo, whatever. So if you use 100, you pay for 100. If you go for 90, pay for 90. But you've got the extra. So how can you go up to 100, 120 if you haven't got the space there, or have you?
Yeah, so we work with customers to understand what is their utilization right now.
Yeah.
So let's say, I think the lowest we go down to is 15 terabytes on storage. So if the customer's utilizing that 15 terabytes, that's what they're paid for. But then we will deploy an extra, typically we see an extra 20% on top of that customers will have in their data center. And then they can scale in and out of that extra 20%. And should they need more than that 20%, they can do a simple change order and deploy more kit on site. So it's a really kind of simple way that they can scale, but also deploy for future products or projects or growth, really.
So they haven't got to put a purchase order, wait 5 months. They can just burst into it as such. I'm using cloud terminology. They're bursting. Did you like that? Yeah. So thank you very much. Yeah. So it's a pay-as-you-go model. Now, what about storage? Is easy. What about servers, networking? Can you do that with it?
Yeah, so I think the minimum is 4 servers. So, you know, I think there's still a preconception that GreenLake is seen as for enterprise play for large customers. But, you know, if you've got 4 servers, we can put 20% extra on site, and then they can scale into that as well and kind of turn those servers on and off as and when they need to.
Right. Okay. So where does it fit? Where are you seeing the wins? Where you is it? Because in my mind, well, it used to be my mind, it was an enterprise play. It's HSBC, it's the government and things like that. Well, where are you seeing it now? Where are HPE seeing GreenLake fitting?
Yeah, and I think it's across majority of organisations. I wouldn't personally say I'm seeing a vertical trend.
Okay.
So to speak, but I'm working with a lot of educational businesses. So I've worked with a really small college on a relatively small deal, and then we've worked with huge universities that, you know, refresh every 7 to 8 years around it. So they're quite large. So really, there's no trend. We've worked with gaming companies as well, and so it's kind of across the board and working with customers. Where are their workloads? Where do they best fit? Is it that public cloud? Do they need to keep it on premise? And then working out what the best platform is for them.
Yeah, really interesting. You mentioned gaming firms, and I didn't line that up because that is our vertical. Yeah, I'm sitting in Malta in our Maltese office at the moment, and we've just been to Gibraltar. We're going to set up in Gibraltar, so we're in London, which is more banking, but it's regulatory is where we sit. But the gaming firms. So you're having success in gaming firms, you were saying.
Yeah, so gaming firm, we've really seen a customer where they're deploying new games out to market. So they don't know how those games are what the uptake on them is going to be.
Oh, you're talking gaming as in kids play games. Oh, I'm talking about gambling here. That's just the way. That's what the industry calls it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but they do create games. So, but there might be slot machines and casinos. They're slightly different. So you're looking at physical gaming firms.
Yeah, physical gaming firms.
Because in the gaming industry, and I can see some people who are here online at the moment listening, and they know some of these deals because they work there. We've taken 3 companies out of the public cloud, not in its entirety, but one we took from 480,000 euros a month, thereabouts. We took that out, put it some because there's big database servers in iGaming. And we took that out, put it into a data center. Unfortunately, because they're Maltese, you can't do GreenLake. Yeah, because it's HBFS don't cover it, which is the financial services side of HPE. But we're seeing that a lot. The gaming firms dropping out because the database services are so expensive. So we are, you know, it is a trend. So where people say you're not King Canute, you won't be able to stop this absolute march into the public cloud. We're seeing it coming the other way as well. So it's exciting times. It's so expensive, the public cloud.
It's a range, and I don't think, you know, I think there's a room for public cloud in the market, definitely. And I think it is about that hybrid model. That's what customers want. But I think a lot of customers were quick to move and then realize the cost and thinking, oh God, now how do I get it back? And then what's the right platform for me? And that's kind of where, you know, our as a service platform really fits well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing a lot of customers, but especially in the iGaming industry, they're born in the cloud because a lot of them are quite young. A lot of startups, they're 8, 9, 10 years old, but they're getting really big. And it's quite a challenging market now, the iGaming, because it's regulated, but I waffle. Yeah. And so, but they start in the cloud. Like my business, it's all in the cloud. We haven't got anything. Everything's in the cloud. We use Oracle, NetSuite. It's a SaaS service. We use 365, etc., etc. Our HR's in the cloud. It's the right fit for us.
Yeah.
But for some of these big companies, not everything's the right fit. So HPE have put a lot into this. GreenLake's been talked around for many years now.
Yeah.
I mean, 5-6 years, but there's a massive push I'm seeing. So most of the marketing emails I get from HPE is GreenLake, GreenLake, GreenLake. You know, and I'm over to Vegas next month, and it's pretty much I'm going to listen to GreenLake from the stage, I'm assuming.
I would presume so, yes.
yeah. So okay. So no, I just find that. So I'm fascinated by how the industry moves. It goes in cycles. Public cloud, it's drifting back round. Virtualization, containerization now, etc., etc. It's all moving. Nothing changes greatly. Back from the SaaS models back in the day, from Salesforce, etc., etc. Right, I'm going to throw a few questions at you.
Okay.
Tamsin, yeah, 30 seconds ones. It's not going to be tea or coffee, not that sort of question. Yeah. Right. This is fairly specific to GreenLake, but it's actually not just GreenLake. It's the pay-as-you-go model. I mean, other providers, you can buy VMware, you can buy Citrix, you know, Pure do a PaaS service, etc., etc. They all do it now. So, but I'll ask it just as though GreenLake was the only one in the world. Yeah. So, question is, do you see GreenLake / the consumption model, the pay-as-you-go model, taking over from CapEx in the next 5 years? And this is your personal take on it. Or will CapEx always be king? Sorry.
I think my personal take is the next 5 years, there's definitely going to be a transition, but you're still going to get those cash-rich companies. And I think where customers and organizations are at the moment, they're not potentially ready to go on their cloud strategy journey either. So, and it's not an overnight transition. So I think we're going to see more uptake in that as a service kind of consumption way that customers are going to consume, but not in the next, I personally don't see it overtaking that CapEx in the next 5 years, just because customers are still, they're used to buying like that, right? And you know, they've previously bought like that for years. So I think it will take some time for customers to transition. But we will see a massive uptake because it's that stepping stone to the public cloud for whatever workloads they're going to move.
No, thanks for that. I agree. People like the public cloud. They like paying for it like that. So bringing it on-prem and doing the same, why not? Right. Next question. Give me some feedback. You haven't got to name the client. So give me the feedback that people have said about GreenLake who have become GreenLake customers. You've got 30 seconds.
Okay. So a lot of feedback from customers, really. So it's more about allocating costs to their business and being able to see where they're spending, what they're spending, getting rid of those big, large refresh cycles every 7 to 8 years and keeping kind of the kit new and fresh, the flexibility, the ease of management, paying for what they use. That's kind of really the main key feedback that we've got from customers so far, is just that control and visibility over it.
And the percentage who go into, because I hear this a lot, there's a real high percentage. It's really sticky. When you get it, you're not going to get rid of it. It's got a really good percentage, and but it's public domain information, so I think I can ask you that, but I might not be able to.
Oh God, you're testing me now.
Yeah. Because
I think the retention rate's in like above 90, between I think it's 98% or something around there. Retention rate for customers, once they get it, they like the platform. It's easy to manage, so you know, customers are sticking with it.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. How easy is it to do a hybrid model with it? Can you move workloads from GreenLake into the public cloud back on? And how would you know how much that's going to cost?
Yeah, so within GreenLake, you get what's called GreenLake Central, which is where you log in. That's your single kind of portal where you can manage all of your infrastructure from. You can go in and input your public cloud spend into there. So it's giving customers that holistic view across everything that they're spending, either public cloud or on premise. You can't necessarily manage the public cloud from the GreenLake Central element, but that potentially, I don't know, might come in the future. But yeah, customers really can manage that cloud cost from a holistic view from there.
Brilliant. Okay. Right. What do you see? Right. Let's go back. I'll start again. Ted, you need a soundbite. Yeah. You can see. Do you see public cloud or the on-prem type of public cloud offering we're talking about, like GreenLake, expanding quicker? Which one? Next 5 years.
Oh, I think that as a service offering on premise, I think customers are liking that they still have the control over it on prem, and not putting it in the public cloud and losing control of what they're spending and where their data is, and being able to harness that. I think customers will, we've seen it, large organizations bring their data back to on premise. So I think this is really the model in between that customers are going to utilize to get the best out of their data.
Okay, thank you. And the last one. I've alluded to it earlier, but this is a 30-second snap, so we start again. Yeah. Largest deals and the smallest. I just want people to realise that is this an enterprise play, or is it SMB, or is it somewhere in the middle? Or
both. It's all of them. So like I said earlier, I've worked with, in the education is probably the best one to go through, because we've worked with a small college that have a small amount of data that they want to do cloud adoption on, but they don't really know how to do it. So they've utilised that as a service platform to be able to do that very small. And then you've got the huge, big universities that we've worked with who have an enormous amount of data, enormous amount of kit, and they refresh every 7 to 8 years. So it's really kind of from a really tiny college to a huge, big university, and it really kind of shows that it's across the board.
Right, super. The last question, actually, I know the last one was the last question. This is now the last question. Yeah. If a client wants to see it in action, do they have to go to another client site, or are there demo facilities that we can show them? And so they say, but I'm interested in this, but I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, Pete, because obviously I don't describe things very well. Could you demo this? Could they have a look and see Cloud Cruiser, Cloud Control, whatever, GreenLake Central? Can we demonstrate this?
Yeah, so we have demos available to customers that they can log on. We can show them how to manage that hybrid cost as well, and how they really can utilize GreenLake Central to manage their business. So that's all available via demos, and that's virtual. So it's easy to do. You can jump on a call and do it.
Right. Okay. Super. I think, unless you've got any questions for me, which I doubt you have. Yeah, nobody ever has. I think that's about wrapped today. So bang on time. He said 15 to 20 minutes. Don't want to bore people. Tamzin, been a star. Thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate you joining us, and we'll catch up very shortly. All right then. Thanks ever so much. Cheers. Thanks for joining. Cheers then.